Hi everyone, this is John. Hi everyone, this is John. I'm in San Juan Capistrano, California. It's been a while since I posted my last video. I think a couple months, and then a little while before that. When I asked the question to myself, like, where have you been? I picture Frodo asking Gandalf, where was he? When he wakes up in Rivendell, he sees Gandalf and he asks, where were you? And Gandalf just gives him this glazed look. And
oh, I'm sorry, Frodo. I was delayed.
We saw where Gandalf was, and so for myself, you know, I was in Europe for a month, which, you know, poor me. I was in Europe for a month, but I lost my microphone, you know, quickly into the trip, and it made making videos a little bit of a chore. So I just decided, you know, I'm gonna enjoy the trip, not worry about making videos, and I enjoyed the trip. And coming back, I also took on a part-time job, so I've been busy with that, and so it's left me feeling a little fried. But then also with photography, this may sound funny, but I've gotten a little bored with photography. It's not so much I don't like it, it's just I have this feeling like nothing's fresh. You know, I live in Orange County, California, and I go to LA often. I feel like I've photographed everything, and I'm just going because I remember I had a good time at one spot where I enjoyed a certain photo session there, so I want to recapture that. But you know, you go a second time, a third time, a fourth time, I feel like I'm just riding the same old merry-go-round, and after a while it's like, okay, let's do something different. And after a while, after many years, it feels like there's nothing different to do. And so I'm trying to push into that and start to ask myself, like, what is it about photography that I'm into? And I don't know if you've ever fallen in this rut where just everything feels the same. Photography for me has never been about, well, I shouldn't say never, but it's not about the gear. You know, I like going to camera stores, and I wish I could just take whatever I want, but because everything's so expensive. But it's never really been about the gear. It's been more about wanting to tell stories, share experiences, you know, get outside. And so I'm trying to press into that more, where it's telling stories I want to tell, and hopefully there's an audience for it, but mostly it's to tell stories I want to tell. And so I'm in San Juan Capistrano today. I don't have a story to tell other than I'm here and just out for a stroll. I enjoy coming to the mission every now and then. So join me and let's see what happens. There's a lot of gardens around here, and I like how there's all kinds of colorful flowers, and I don't know what types of flowers they are, but I brought my macro 50 millimeter. So I like to stop and take a look at the details of the flowers, you know, stop and smell the roses. Normally I just pass by, I see the colors, I think, oh, they're pretty, and I just keep walking past. But when I take the time, it's like, wow, there's a lot going on there with these lines and the pollen, even the shapes. Like, you see the star in there. Flowers I think are actually pretty difficult to photograph, especially when there's a breeze. You know, it's moving around a lot, and so, you know, to get a nice macro shot, I actually find it difficult and almost impossible because it's moving around. So I'm giving a go at this. I use a somewhat fast shutter speed to combat the wind, but you know, with this old Canon macro, it's kind of hideous at autofocus, so playing with the wind is, you know, it's a real challenge. So the biggest thing is just try to be patient, wait for the wind to slow down, and poop. Another thing I find interesting are these bulbs. waiting to bloom. And oftentimes I'm just looking at the blooms, as cool as they are. And what about these? I don't know anything about plants or botany or anything like that, or horticulture, but I just wonder like how the seeds are forming, or what the pollen. At what point does it say, okay, flower, time to burst? Is it when it's full? Is it just a clock ticking of some kind? And to think God made it that way. Here's the Meeker flower from the Muppets. I don't really know what these are called. There's got to be a sign around somewhere, but I don't see it. It's also interesting to think about how bees are disappearing and how they're vital to holding life together as we know it. As I'm noticing all these bugs, I'm just realizing probably why I'm noticing all these bugs, or how all of a sudden, besides just taking the time to see them. I've been spending a lot of time with some friends who have a 5-year-old, and she loves to look at bugs. And me, I just walk past them and think, oh, whatever, it's a butterfly, it's whatever. Now as I'm doing these pictures, it's thinking, oh, these are for her. She would enjoy this. I don't know if these are ladybugs. Obviously they're not ladybugs, but if they're akin to them, if these are more like the tactical version of ladybugs. After walking around, you work up a little bit of an appetite, so there's a lot of great restaurants nearby, so I'm gonna go check one out. Well, that was a tasty meal. I'm gonna go over to the Mission now. That's what this place is named after and famous for, so let's go check it out. There we go. So I'm in the ruins of the actual church building that was a cathedral. There was a big earthquake a long time ago that demolished it or destroyed it. So what's left standing is what's left standing. One thing I'm noticing is just these fine detail. It's like there's rubble everywhere, but it's still, you could tell there's, obviously it was, it was built to be something. And the way I wonder, like we're walking on dirt, and every cathedral I've been to, like in Europe, or that's still functioning, there's marble floors, and here it's dirt. I'm just curious why it's still dirt. Like I've seen ancient Greek ruins dug up, and the stone roads are still there, but here it's dirt. I'm loving how the light's just combing these corners and the ridges, so just trying to isolate on those and focus on those. I love these pillars and these porches or porticos, I don't know, colonnade area. The Spanish architecture, I'm assuming it's Spanish because Spaniards made it. There's something soothing about it. I don't know how it works, but just something soothing about it. And I've photographed this many times and just looked at it many times, and I'm here again, just wondering how can I do it different, because I still feel that rut. I walk in like, I've done this before. It's a weird feeling. I don't know how to get out of it, except just to try to not just see with the camera, just to see differently. So I'm just gonna give it a go and just look for something different. Not just different, because I'm not gonna. The hard thing is try not to talk to yourself. You've already shot that. How many times has this been photographed by every tourist today? I talk myself out of a lot of things. So just to kind of be quiet, let's just look and see, and maybe listen. So I'm here in one of the old priestly quarters. There's these designs on the wall. I'm not sure what they are. I mean, I'm guessing maybe cactus or some kind of plant. But in these waves that look, they're red, but I wonder if they're meant to be waves like water or waves like the hills or wind or what. I don't know, but they look cool. And I found this one, I just wanted to hone in on it. It's got some chipped out texture that it just looks rustic and looks cool. So as I was saying about these pillars, one thing I've noticed, I've always photographed them from the inside where it's shady, because when you're here, you can only be here during the day. It's closed at night. So I'm in the shade because usually it's pretty sunny out. So I got this idea, why not just step out into the sun? And I thought it was interesting how the light was just coming off the sides of the top, these brick parts. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to try photographing from this side. The place is closing up for the day and I have to leave, so I wanted to end on one thought. It just hit on me how this place was run by Franciscans back in the day, or I think they still do, the Franciscan order. And they run the religious or the services. And I think back in the day they were involved with working with the natives who lived here. And there's a lot of questionable things there, and I'll leave it at that for now. But just thinking to the origins of the Franciscan order with Francis of Assisi, one of his major characteristics or emphasis was simplicity, to not have a lot of possessions and not to think about too much. But because the idea with possessions, they can weigh you down. The more you have, the more you guard them. And it was hitting me just like with photography or just, in life itself. The more I think about, what's my photography accomplishing? What's, as I was saying earlier, like what thoughts weigh me down? Like, this place has been photographed in a million ways. I'm just next in line, or I have myself have photographed in a million ways. And when you take a step back and just let go of all that, all that's weighing you down in life, like you're too busy, you're too stressed out, you're too whatever, to have a moment to sit back and just try to put things in perspective. What's important? Is it having every piece of great gear out there? Is it being famous? Is it I don't know, you fill in the blank. What's important? What do we envision as being important? You know, to put that down, and often you'll find what you really enjoy in life isn't what you're running after. There's something else. And for me, in the simplicity, it's just enjoying getting to see, you know, getting to experience, getting to be alive. You know, I'm thankful for many things, but thankful that I'm alive. You know, you were decided to be made, you know, it wasn't by accident. And I know that's controversial for some, but, you know, to think you were intentionally made, and here you are, you get to experience all that's here. And I understand not everybody gets to, and that's part of the tragedies of life. But the fact that you get to, you know, just ask what, you know, in the simplicity of, if you can just focus on what you enjoy. And I can't answer that for you. I can barely answer it for myself, but just to sit back and just think, what's in simplicity? How can I have simplicity in my life, but also in photography? You know. So anyway, thanks for watching. I hope maybe this helped get you to think a little bit about your photography and your approach, and just to enjoy it. If you have any comments or questions, leave them down below. I'll see you next time. Bye.